What's up, YouTube? It's Artisanmc on my trek home. I'm on call tonight, so I'm probably not going to get much sleep, and I'm already tired. It's been a long enough couple of days working around the clock between work and the shop. I have not had a day off, but as I do a lot of times in the night, I'm having some musings. And so my musings that I'm having right now is remembering back fondly on a few things and thinking of things that I actually want again. And it's weird because I don't usually think about this stuff where it doesn't come up to the front of my mind. But lately on my mind has been having someone, a woman, and staying with, or having a woman stay with me, I should say. That companionship of living with a woman. And I think I know what it is. I think I actually know what it is because I get along pretty well by myself. I have time to do what I want to do. I do the things that I want to do, and nobody necessarily bothers me while I'm doing it because I'm a pretty mercurial person at times. Sometimes I want to be really close with folks. Sometimes I want to be really far away from folks. It's just how the water rolls, okay? It's the water cycle. So it's just like the moon. Sometimes it's close, sometimes it's far. It's just what it is. But lately I've been feeling that urge to have somebody close. And to have somebody close in a specific situation, not just in, hey, we're dating, or this is my lady and this is what we're doing. Trying to see if this shit can actually develop into a relationship. No, not in that sense. In the sense that there is a home I come to and she is there too. And that's funny because I haven't missed that in a while. I mean, a good damn near a decade. Almost a decade. I haven't missed it. So I look at it as, one, maybe it's taken that much time for me to actually think of doing something like that again with a person. And two, it could be because of work. Now, where I work, I am constantly going in and out of people's homes, taking care of stuff that's gone wrong in their homes. And every time I go in these people's homes, outside of determining if it's filthy or not, who's lazy in the fucking house and who's not, one of the things I always find myself drawn to looking at is, one, who's in there, who's the head of the house, how the other person behaves if they're not the head of the house, and how the house is decorated in terms of wedding pictures, pictures of them together, pictures of family and shit like that. It always interests me. I just always, glance at it, right? And I think that's having an effect on me, that it's actually making those thoughts or feelings rise to the surface, that I actually miss that. I actually miss it a little bit. I've told you guys before that I was married for a good 14, 15 years. I was together for almost... So, yeah, been there 20 years. We've known each other for, longer than that, right? So, my marriage was not to somebody who was a complete fucking stranger, and we just had 2 good years, and I figured that would be it. No. I had known this person since high school. We had dated in high school, right? We had been broken up and split for like 5 or 6 years. Lived some of our life, and, end up fate worked to actually bring us back around in each other's lives, and we ended up having a family. Or making a family, right? So there was some serious time invested there, and that was when I did it. That's what I wanted to do. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So when that was over, like 2013, 2014, it was settled completely. First thing that I missed was that it was actually weird for me to come home to an empty house. Dark and empty. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right at all. Well, that's partly because it was the house that we stayed in as a family. That's why it didn't feel right. There was too many pieces missing from that scenario. But over time, I got used to that house being alone and actually look forward to welcoming it to be just the way I left it when I walked out the door that morning. And not having to do much of anything. I could sleep on the couch or I could go up to bed. It didn't matter. It was all open to me. Whatever I wanted to do was open to me. Right? So I started to enjoy that a lot more. Now, there was a time when, after that I had a girlfriend. And we were together for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And we were living together. But you gotta learn your lesson about, moving in with folks. You never do that. You never move in to your girlfriend's house. It's not a good situation when it's over, because you're the one leaving, right? But I kind of accepted that, given the situation and the circumstances. I accepted that, and I was game to, try to have a serious committed relationship again. I was game to do it. Didn't work. She wanted other things. She wanted to get married quickly, and I wasn't at that point where I wanted to do that shit again. I wasn't. She was looking for her third marriage. I'm like, shit, I'm not looking for the second one necessarily. I'm not ready for that shit. So it went the way it went. She went off and found somebody else and got married. And I went off and found a bunch of other people, but still never have gotten married again. Didn't want to. I own that fact that I did not want to get married again. Not that soon. No, I didn't. I held to it, and that's just what it was. So, all these years later, I'm constantly seeing people in a state of being together, having somebody there, and that newness, in a sense of a solidified relationship where you're not worried about motherfucking trying to find somebody else. You ain't worried about them jumping on the carousel. None of that shit. Most of that is actually removed from their eyes at this point, or their mind at this point, because to me it's still new and it's in that early stages where they're willing to not be cynical and actually try to have a relationship with each other and commit to that shit. Right? So that works for me. And even with my, call them failures, I don't give a shit. But even with my failures with relationships, because that's what it is. If you're not with the same person that you wanted to be with and you went your separate ways, it's a failure, motherfucker. That's just what it is. And so I don't feel no way about saying it because everybody fails. Right? bro, should still be with the same person that you first ever fell in love with, your little sweetheart and Valentine in elementary school or some shit. But being around that, I see things that I miss. I've always liked being in relationships. I don't always have. That's just how I was wired up. I'm really traditionally minded in that sense, to where I believe that you should have your one person for you. There should be somebody for you, right? And that there is. And not that they're perfect or anything like that. No, that they work with you. That working, in a sense, is your personalities and your likes and dislikes and whatnot actually balance each other out. It actually works. So you can actually work together and be an actual couple. Because it's not like you're both driving each other fucking crazy. That's a whole different kind of relationship. Right? But you can actually do shit together, like, I don't know, walk the fucking dog. You know, if you have a dog. Or you're playing a game and you need to go to the bathroom, and you can say, babe, play this for me while I go to the restroom. And she'll take the sticks and do just as well as you. And not, I don't want to play that shit. No, she'll just grab the sticks and I got you. While you can go to the bathroom and know she's holding it down. You know, simple shit. I'm a simple guy, right? I look for your simple pleasures. So those are the things I feel like are bubbling to the surface, because I'm seeing this stuff now on a more constant basis. That is actually, you know, bringing those feelings and stuff like that to the surface, to where it is making me think about that stuff again. Like, maybe I'm missing, right? And maybe saying maybe is probably a little bit of an understatement. Because I know in some ways I do miss it. There's nothing to be said about that shit. I'm a decent dude alone. I know I am. Right? I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me. But I do like that female companionship. I do. Absolutely do. Love that shit. It brings a whole different side out of it. Because that's where the softness and the relaxing comes from, when you can have somebody that is down on your team like that with you, to actually get that little respite. Something that makes you smile, or at least for me, something that makes me smile, and that would, even after a long day, I'll still find the energy to be, you know, interested in seeing that person. Because that's how it works for me. Right? I focus on a lot of different stuff during the day. And if I think about stuff that I've had to deal with and manage today, which is a lot, while I'm at work, doing some other work, for some other work, you know, going home right now, I'd smile a little bit if there's a chick there. I would smile a little bit. If not only to, you know, have the person ask me, how was your day? I may tell her nothing. I may tell her that it was just fine. Or, you know, give her the whole rundown. It depends on who she is and how she is. Because I understand that kind of sharing, that kind of offloading is part of what a relationship is. If you're not doing that, you ain't doing a fucking relationship right necessarily. I mean, it's just what it is. They want to feel connected to you. How else they can feel connected to you if you're gone for 12 hours in a day? You might want to know what the fuck you was up to, what you struggle with during the day. That's what it is. So I think that's what it is. And if you want an easier way to describe it, think of it like an ex-smoker or alcoholic working in a bar or handing out cigarettes all day. Even though you know you good with your decision to stop drinking and or stop smoking, that little part of you in the back of your head that liked that shit comes to the surface. It says, yeah, but that alcohol tastes good. Those cigarettes always made us feel kind of cool. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's that kind of thing. So it ends up being pretty interesting. It ends up being pretty interesting just to sit there and think about it and muse on it in a sense, because one of the things I do is I will evaluate mentally pluses and minuses and keep averages and stuff like that. That's how my brain works. It's very analytical, right? So while I'm having that emotional understanding about this is a feeling that's popping up in me and why that feeling is being triggered, at the same time I'm taking that feeling and analyzing it and breaking it down to the positives and negatives of what that can give and what it can't give. It's just how it works. It's just how it happens, right? So I know the negatives of actually having a person in my life right now is that I wouldn't have much time for them. And if they were there dealing with the stuff that I'm dealing with now, I probably wouldn't be that goddamn nice to them. And not because I would just start being mean to them. You know, it would be that my mood would not be, you know, cuddly. It'd be kind of prickly. I'd have very little patience for, you know, mundane irritation, you know. I'd be in full scorpionic mode, right? I'd be ready to swing. Shit is getting stung. Just what it would be. And that's not necessarily a cool thing to do to the other person, but it's what would be the situation, right? Because regardless of who you with, you are who the fuck you are. And the person that you're with is going to have to either learn how to deal with that shit or figure out that they can't deal with it and find somebody else. It's just what the options are. But they're going to have to accept your personality, your shortcomings, and your benefits. It's just what it is. But for me, I personally, when I'm in that mode or mood, I don't want nobody else around me to have to deal with that shit. I really don't. I'm enough of a thinking person where I understand sometimes I am not the best fucking company. I am not. I wouldn't want to ruin your good time, so I'll just leave. It's just what it is. It's not personal. It's because I give a fuck that I'm not trying to talk to you. But people always see it in the opposite. You're not talking to them, so you don't care. Like, try not to even cuss at you for nothing. I mean, really, because I'm a prickly pear right now. You know, porcupine quills is out. You know. It is what it is. Now, on the positive side of being in a relationship right now, and somebody was living with me, I can go home and there might actually be something cooked already. There might be something cooked. She might have spent her whole day thinking about me, knowing the stuff I was dealing with, and tried to do something nice for me. And got there and just been surprised, like, oh shit. That's right. She knew I was on call today, so I'd probably be late and I'd probably have to rush out in the middle of the night if somebody called. So maybe the shit was already done. Maybe there was something already there waiting for me. Maybe she thought that and actually put some thought into it and, you know, showing some appreciation. That would be something I would miss. It would. I'd miss something like that. And it's not anything that's demeaning. It's just something that you do for people that you give a fuck about. If you care about what's going on with them in their life, that's what you do. You do shit like that. that's what it is. And I know, and I'm sure it is work. Because I can tell you two things I saw today that stick out in my mind, which means it resonated with me on some kind of emotional level. And one of the places I went to, the guy wasn't answering the door or whatnot. But when I finally came in, me and a girl were just sitting on the couch with the laptop, under a blanket. And I come in to do my deal, doing my inspection and whatnot. And I'm catching pieces of their conversation, and what I'm marking is the tone. How he talks to her, how she is talking to him. And I understand that tone is like they actually love each other. They do. He actually cares for her. She actually cares for him. Her tone is soft, it's feminine, half like joking, little high points in it. And his tone is low and even. And rumbly a little bit like a big cat, with a little growl in his voice. He cares for me. Right? And the only reason I know that shit because I've been there. I've been that person before. I know what that shit sounds like. I know what it feels like when you do it. I know how the other person feels when you do it to them. So it's not anything I'm oblivious of. And hearing that made me remember that stuff. Made me remember those times. And it might not all be with the same fucking person. It's not. But it did give me those pleasant memories. And think about those things like, damn, I know what I'm going home to tonight. Being up late, probably not being able to sleep. Working on the computer, trying to get some more stuff done for the shop because we got no shop time. I need to do some of this YouTube stuff, so I need to do that. I need to get some of more of this book done. There's a whole list of things to still do this day. It's almost over, but I'm not done. Didn't even mention, dinner or nothing like that. Taco Tuesday. I need to find me some damn tacos. Right? So, those things. So, that's me musing. Now, what will I do about it? Actually, there's nothing to be done about it. Not really. I had an interesting reach out call today from somebody, not even a call, a text. And out the blue, they texted me. It reminded me that they were having a moment that I had a couple of weeks back where a certain song came on, and that song is a memory of that person with that song. I had reached out and just said, hey, the song crossed my path, and it reminded me of you, just saying hello, hope you're doing all right. Send this shit off, I don't want shit. Right? Well, weeks later, shit happened to them too, and that's what they were doing today. They were reaching out to me to say, hey, now it's happening to me. Laughing out loud. Hope you're doing well. So it's little shit like that. In my philosophy, there are no such things as coincidences. You just have to figure out what the hell it means. That's it. It's not a coincidence that the person called. I just have to figure out what it means. And so far, what I've got from the meaning of that shit is that my mother runs her goddamn mouth to that person. Which was not a surprise to me, but okay. But it's also revealing, that this person knows a lot more about what's going on in my life because because they didn't ask no questions when I said a certain thing. They didn't even question, which means they already had foreknowledge of it, which I haven't told them. So that means some folks is running their goddamn mouth too much about my business. That ain't for public consumption. So that's also going on. Like I said, got both sides. I can be emotional and analytical. And I lean analytical first. My emotions are filtered. That is not the first thing I run with. So that's it. I think this has been long enough. 25 minutes of me bullshitting as I drive. Maybe you'll find it interesting. Maybe you won't. What should I know? But that's it. That was my musings, I guess, on relationships. It's Artisanmc, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.